Are PPM tools worth having in your PMO in 2024? Well, let me tell you my opinion on it, having been in the world of PMO for almost 2 decades and having gone from junior roles to head of PMO roles and working with plenty of PPM tools. I want to try and give you a balanced viewpoint and what I think you should be doing. Now, there's not, spoiler alert, there's not a one-size-fits-all answer. So let me break it down for you like this. If you are working on a program which is roughly £10 million, $15 million in size, right? You're probably going to have 20 work streams or less, maybe even 10 work streams, depending on how it's structured. And in my opinion, that is a small program, and that program does not require a PPM tool because there just isn't going to be the volume of people involved in a project that size which would necessitate such a tool. Now, from 10 million to 100 million, that, in my opinion, is a gray area. And it really comes down to how the project and the program is structured. Now, I've worked, most of my career has been in that range, 10 to 100 million. And I can tell you that I've done it with PPM tools and without PPM tools. And I'll tell you my experience of it. Now, finally, if you are above 100 million, if you're working on a program or a project and it's above 100 million in value, I think there is a benefit of having a PPM tool. Now, at that point, if you're working in such a program of that magnitude, you're probably working in a big organization, and in big organizations, change is a constant. There's always programs of change going on and projects and so forth. And it makes sense for them to have a PPM tool. So with that, let me tell you the biggest value that I have seen of a PPM tool. Because I think the PPM tool, the software developers and the companies, I think they like to think that they're going to create this incredible omnipotent tool which can just do everything and help you manage your project. The reality is that no, they don't do that. And every single PPM tool that I use, the number one function I use on it is export to Excel. Yes, I press that button, get that data out of there, and I'm working away in Excel. And what I'm doing is I'm combining data from here, I'm combining data from suppliers, from finance, and all these other places. And I'm bringing them in and I'm doing interesting, useful analytics that can help program directors, program managers make very data-driven decisions that we just can't get neatly in a way from PPM tools. Now, that is not the fault of the PPM tools. I'm not a basher of PPM tools by any means, right? It is simply that you don't have every use case. Every program, every project is slightly different. Yes, there are flavors and themes of problems that we encounter when we're on huge programs and delivering such complexity, and PPM tools can't deal with all of those use cases, and it's just not worth it for a PPM company to sit there and build all those things, and so we shouldn't have that expectation. What I find is the biggest benefit, the single biggest benefit of a PPM tool is that it can allow, it's the input. It is getting 100 project managers to input into one system, and they have one single form and they've got to do it, and it's unified. And the PPM tool is built on a good, solid, with some kind of good database backend, and there's no faffing about in it. It manages the data perfectly well, and people will input to it at a defined time and frequency, and then I, as a PMO, can extract that information and I can do all the analysis that I want to do from it. That is the biggest benefit of it. Now, here's the thing. Between the 10 and 100 million programs, I've actually built my own, I don't want to call them PPM tools, but my own central data repositories. And you can do that in Excel. Believe me when I tell you, you can do that in Excel fairly well. We've done it in Access. We've built some on-the-fly MySQL tools as well in the past. But believe me when I tell you, we can do that in just working with Microsoft Project and Excel. It can go a long way. Now, I'm not telling you that that's how you should go about doing things. But what I'm telling you is that with PPM tools, there are trade-offs. Now, what do I think is better than and more important than a PPM tool? Well, it is going to be a PMO or a project analyst, somebody who has got the skills that I've been describing to do the kind of work. it is the skills of taking data and being able to analyze it and being able to work with it and turning all of that information from PPM tools into good decision-making insights for decision makers, right? Program directors, program managers, and so forth. And so that is really, really more valuable, having the people who can understand what to do with that data. Now, if you are such a person, you're a PMO, you're a junior PMO, or you're a head of PMO with a team, and you want to upskill them and help them to be able to do that kind of high level data analysis, then we have a training program which teaches just that. We teach automation and analytics to PMOs, and if you want to learn more about it, check the description. You can learn more, and you can get in touch with us, and we can have a discussion about whether it's good for you or your team, and we can take it from there.